Good evening, red-headed step family. It's your big brother Red. Welcome to Red's Vertical Live Stream. Vertical live streaming will bring us people who have never heard of us, that don't know our circle of friends, who are welcome to join. We are the Lonely Hearts Club. Yeah, tonight, anyway. All right, I'm not bald yet. I'll call that hair. There was a spot back. I saw a picture of me from behind, and there's a little spot right here that's coming in. Right about there. Oh, can't read it with my glasses. Good morning, Brett S. Good morning, Michigan Swamp Hopper. All right, we have what is legally called a show. I'm sure we got a 5x5, otherwise somebody be telling me you couldn't hear me. The new shirts, look at that. Look at that. And the back has the same logo on it. So if you type at Explore America, one word, the at sign Explore America into YouTube, I come right up. Otherwise, you get a bunch of people from third world countries who haven't even posted videos yet before you come across mine. What did we just post? I think we just post our 500th video. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it's 500. 500 videos on Explore America channel. Good morning, S. Tordicos. I'm really sorry. My eyes are not working as they're supposed to. My vision is getting worse lately. Not worried about it. It'll take care of itself, just like herpes. It'll go away. All right, we know that's not how it works, but I do have good insurance, so I'm not that worried. All right, let's hop in. Let's talk about what happened in Jerome, Arizona with the ghost. If you did see, we did post the ghost episode, and it was worth every penny, although I did not pay for that experience. That was paid for by Mama Knows as a gift to AJ and I. Mr. Brown, a.k.a. Colonel Mustard. I just pulled that out of my backside. Let's call him Colonel Mustard. Now the other channel will call him Colonel Mustard. Here he could be Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown, Mama Knows, took us on this ghost tour in the most haunted city in America. And a few people had some very valid, concerning comments. And I'm not here to belittle your comment. I'm here to tell you that I don't know, but I do have some experiences. The members are aware of about a 1 or 1.5 minute video where someone very close to me who works at a museum gave me video, and this museum is a collection of people's very expensive belongings. Very high ticket. Everything in there is high ticket. Everything in there is owned by somebody dead. And the museum itself is literally built on its own family's graveyard. They moved the graveyard to put this museum there, and they literally moved their own family's dead bodies across the street, dating back to the 1800s. Oh, I'm hanging in there too, Brett. Fishing for Coho Kings. Oh, I knew it, dude. You come up with the best pictures. He's been sending me so many amazing nature pictures lately of baby bears playing in the woods on a trail cam. I could say it, I just can't share them with you. They're the best pictures. So, let's go back. So I'm going to bring this video out now that all this is going on. And I did not want to bring it out because I did not want that person to get in trouble for giving me the video, which came off of a color security cam inside of the museum, and the owner of the museum shared it with all of the employees of the museum because the ghost issues there are a hot topic of conversation among the employees because all the employees there have their own story of interactions with ghosts. This one, you literally see 6 or 7 ghosts, and I call it a family because some of the ghosts are half the height of the other ghosts, and the other ghosts have what appears to be human size, and they're human shape, but like in the movies, they're white, which is weird. And they're walking by a security cam. And here's the interesting thing about the security cam. The security cam is going down a hallway, and a large part of the wall that the security cam is facing, here's the wall. And this wall has a lot of glass in it. And you don't see the people walking down the hallway, but you do see their reflection in the glass as they are. So you don't see, the only way you see the ghost is in the glass on the wall, but you see all the ghosts from head to toe. And it's very obvious. Like, nobody would miss it if they saw it. There's clearly 7 white outlines of human bodies walking down this hallway. So I will release that video. I'd like to mark it some way so everybody's not going to steal it. I know when I post the UFO videos that everybody's going to steal it on YouTube and turn it into something and actually make money off of my content. So I'd like to find a way around that. So that is not my experience personally, but I do have some experiences just a couple feet from where I'm sitting right now, within arm's reach of where I'm sitting. On the first occasion, I don't remember if this is the first time it happened or the second time it happened, but I was drinking a lot of Arizona iced tea at the time, and I had an empty Arizona iced tea can on top of the refrigerator. And you know the sound that a can would make if it was empty and you smacked it with your hand? I heard that sound and looked over and saw the Arizona iced tea can fly 5 or 6 feet off of the refrigerator and then hitting the floor. That happened in this little 600 square foot area, which Michigan Swamp Hopper has been to. So he knows how small it is. And that happened inside this little area. The next time I had a ghost encounter was another empty Arizona iced tea can, because I was putting like 20 of those inside the recycling bin every month at one point. And again, the can gets hit, you hear the sound, and it flies 3 or 4 feet off the counter, but it flies. It doesn't tip and fall off the counter. It flies off the counter. The third time was, I do have a replication of the third island, and it was a box like this, full of empty, no longer having that wonderful looking deep dish pizza from Nancy's in there. So it was a box that looked like this, and it flew off the counter onto the floor. It was 100% on the counter. It was 100% inland on the counter. It wasn't hanging off the counter, wasn't near the edge, and in neither case were these 2 cans anywhere near the edge when they came a-flying. And again, I look over, and there is a pizza box on the floor. Just months before the first encounter, my landlord, who I was very close friends with after living on his property for a number of years, We became very close friends. Every day I came home from work, he was here on the property, shooting guns in the backyard or doing whatever his thing is, working in the garage, whatever. You know, he didn't live on this property, but this was his property. This was his hangout. He was retired. And we didn't know he was sick to the point where he didn't let anybody know except for family, which isn't many, that he was in the hospital fighting the sea monster, the letter C. And then he had passed. Now, recently, his wife just passed just a few months ago. But she hasn't shown up as a ghost. So I've had 3 experiences in this house dealing with ghosts that were beyond the experience that they deliver in Jerome, Arizona. Nonetheless, the experience I had in Jerome, Arizona was just as valid as all of the examples that I just told you, although they were from different means. Now, I have learned since editing that video. If you did see the ghost video, I edited that like a month ago. And I may have promised at the beginning to show the encounter between my daughter and the ghost. Most of that is a recount by people who watched it happen. But what I have learned about the little ball that lights up, which is the EMF detector, there was a big one that was used by the tour guide, and then everybody had a handheld EMF detector. And what I did find out is that the ghost will walk to the left and set off the red light by getting close to it through electrical means. And all of this was actually electrical means. And if the ghost is trying to relay something positive or a yes or no situation, so basically if you see it was really orange, it wasn't red. If you see the orange light, you're getting a no or a negative response. And if you see the green light, you're getting a yes or a positive response, meaning that the answer that they're returning to you is friendly. And when that green light goes off, and sometimes when the orange light goes off, at the exact same time, you get a voice in the ghost voice box. The ghost voice box we're using is the one that every single ghost hunter in the world uses, if they're using a voice box. So I was not, the people that gave the tour didn't really explain that. See, I'm the type of person, if somebody tells me to do something, I got to know why. I'm happy to do it. But if you tell me we got to tear down a pool in some backyard and it ain't my house, I'm going to ask you why. Why? Even if you want me to help you tear down your pool in your backyard, I'm happy to help. But there's no way we're getting that pool down till you tell me why the hell are you pulling the pool down. So that's the way I think. So in my personal opinion, the people that gave the tour gave a very lengthy explanation for what you were about to get involved in, but weren't as specific to let you know that the ghost is actually walking to the right side of the meter to set off the orange or negative side, or the right side of the meter for the positive response. But in no case, in the situations where I was actually looking at the EMF reader and AJ wasn't walking around with it 10 feet away from me, and I had that voice box, did they conflict each other? If I was getting a positive response out of the voice box on the ghost machine, I was getting a positive response on the EMF reader. Now, to cover the concerns, hey Gibby, how you doing? Oh, you're probably at work or on your way. Ha ha ha, famous Pizza Red. Nancy's is the most forgotten pizza, and it's probably because they call their deep dish stuffed, and most restaurants stuffed means it's real deep, but most of it is dough. And deep dish means it's real deep, but most of it is cheese. So this is mostly cheese, but they call it a stuffed pizza instead of a deep dish pizza. So that's what really hurts Nancy's as a corporation. So to respond to people's concerns, by the way, this episode is brought to you by this stuff, because I would be running around on this live stream like a squirrel chasing nuts if I wasn't taking this thing to get rid of the cloudiness. And I'm not telling you to. Don't be dumb like me. But I am finishing my 7th day after my next dose. About as much, a little bit more than you'd put on a toothbrush in the morning, and a little bit more than when you're brushing your teeth, a little bit more than you would put toothpaste on a toothbrush is what I'm doing twice a day, 12 hours apart. I'm not telling you to do it. And then we're going to cycle this through the old bod when we're done. And I've done this 3 times before, and it hasn't been for over a year. Yep, at work. About to check out in 20 minutes. Oh, glad to hear it. You got a second shift today. Not third shift. You normally would be starting your shift. So let's move on to the concerns, the valid concerns of people who responded. AJ, at one point, because of her age, very good that she is questioning everything. And she was brought up in church. And she knows what she's going to do for the rest of her life because of her growing up at church. We found out real young, before she was even out of diapers, what she loved and what her passion was, and she is taking that to her profession. And she asked an interesting question while we were standing in the gymnasium where Drew lived. Now, remember, we are in Jerome, Arizona, at the top of a mountain. It's a very strange town. The woman on the tour said, it's interesting, said this to Mama Knows, said, you're from the light side. Sedona, Arizona is known as the light side of spirituality. Okay, so the goodness and the godliness of spirituality, if you want to find the Mecca for that place, it's Sedona, Arizona. 20 miles or 20 minutes up the mountaintop, where you could see from pretty much any 50%, 180 degrees of Sedona, you see a big mountain. At the top of the mountain, there's a J. There's a big giant letter J that lights up at night, just like the Hollywood sign, but it's only one letter. And it's Jerome, Arizona. And the woman said, we're the dark side of spirituality. It's weird how we're next door to each other, and Sedona is the light side, and then we're kind of the dark side. And she's right. And Jerome, Arizona is a dark place. It's the world's largest haunted town. And here's what's interesting. For the world's largest haunted town that has a high number of ghosts, the actual number of ghosts aren't really that high. In that school is always the same 4 or 5 spirits that are there every night that woman gives the tour. And she's as familiar with them as you are with the guy at the gas station that you always go to get cigarettes and gas and milk or whatever you get at the gas station or your convenience store. she's about that familiar with these ghosts. Maybe, if it's the same guy at the gas station that you've been talking to for years anyway, maybe your mailman, but somebody that you know that you really don't know, you have a close connection. That's how she is. She knows them by voice. There was even one in the cemetery that they couldn't read the stone, and one of the ghosts that kept coming through said his name was Michael. And then they found out later that the actual person who was buried there is named Michael, Dr. Michael something, I believe. That was the doctor, where they couldn't read his stone. So we're in the dilapidated high school that shut down in the early 1900s. And AJ asked through the ghost box, is God real? Which again is a good question for, a college-age student, somebody who is just getting beyond their favorite TV show and their favorite singer, and exploring the world that you and I live in for the first time. And she doesn't get any response at all. And years before she asked this question, I had the thought I'm about to share with you now, but it was hearing her say that triggered this thought. Outside, let's look at the first idea is purgatory. I'm not saying that's the thought. This is my thoughts coming up. That's not my thought. That's a Catholic thought. I'm not Catholic. I'm not denying purgatory. I don't know. I haven't been there. But that is a possibility. The thing that came to mind when AJ asked that question was, why would they know any more on the other side whether God is real or not than we do? They're in the same position we are. They're stuck here on earth. Ghosts don't fly. So although they are not physically formed, they're just as ignorant in the afterlife as they were here. No mysteries have been solved in the time that they went from living in a human body to dead and being nothing more than an electrical current that can sometimes get picked up. You can't be erased. As a matter of fact, here's a good example. Every single photo that you erase from your phone doesn't erase. It erases off your phone, but it literally gets pushed out into the atmosphere as garbage. And we're having a real problem with that right now on this planet, that there is so much electronically generated garbage floating around in the form of your deleted JPEGs and messages. All that stuff still exists. When you delete it, it still exists, and it's still taking up space in a electrical sense here in our orbit. So if you can't delete a JPEG and it becomes electronic garbage or noise, the same thing happens with us. You can't delete people, good or bad. They could die, but you're pushing out that electrical garbage that the leftovers of what they were, the remnants of that picture that you've deleted. But at no means do I believe that crossing over for people who are not going to heaven, and that could be for hundreds of reasons. They're atheists. They're part of a satanic church. By the way, that black guy Jesse just interviewed the head of the Los Angeles Satanic Church. That's probably worth watching. So I don't believe that you're answered that there is a epiphany moment in crossing over from life to death where these ghosts know if there's a God. They're still wondering if there's a God. Now, Jerome, Arizona, being the world's largest ghost town, doesn't have that many ghosts. Like in the high school, there were 4, 5, or 6, probably 6, because we were told specifically you're going to walk free around this part of the high school. But if you go to that section over there, you're going to run into some really nasty spirits. If you stay over here by the stage, you're going to be talking to a 6-year-old boy named Drew. And we stayed by the stage and interacted with Drew. And I am calling dead people electronic garbage because they're setting off the EMF reader, and that's based on electrical energies. So let's call them energy. So if there's energy applied to the left side, the orange light goes on, the green light goes on. So this energy, we decided to stay next to this energy that was supposedly a 6 or 8-year-old boy a little over 100 years ago. So there are not that many ghosts in the world's largest ghost town. In the cemetery, I think we came across 4, and they were the only 4 that she expected us to come across in a graveyard that had probably 20 or 30 graves. So what happened to the souls of those other people? They went to heaven. That's very much the possibility. Or they went to hell. And then there are these souls in between. It could be that these people, if that crazy theory about not everybody has a soul, maybe they didn't have a soul. Maybe they can't be claimed by heaven or hell. I don't know. But I do know that it was real. And the electronic feeling that I felt all over the back of my body from my waist up to the top of my head was really good feeling. Like almost like lightly orgasmic feeling that I felt, but not in a sexual way. But I mean, we're talking that level of feeling good, okay? But, in a non-sexual way. When I felt that wave of energy go up my back when we were group hugging Drew, the little boy who liked physical contact or the attempt of physical contact. He craved physical contact from the visitors that came into that high school and onto his stage where he lived. Or I guess he doesn't live. He's where he dies. Where his dead body roams, where his energy roams. Was the experience that we had real? Yes. It was very real, and if you have an opportunity to go with a professional ghost hunter somewhere, I would go, especially if it's a place that they frequent often. Now, when you go into, there's a bar in my state that's 60 miles south of me. I know a ghost hunter went in there 20 years ago and got on video. You know how when you close up a restaurant at night, you flip the chairs up on top of the table so you can clean the floor? Well, these were stools, and they went flying. They went flying all over the bar and hit the door for the basement as the other guy was coming out of the basement, and was just about to push the door. The door was halfway open. You know how doors kind of close when halfway when you open them and walk through them. It was half closed, open about 1.5 feet or 2, and the chair hits it as the guy's coming up. And then the guy talked through the door saying, "Is it cool? Can I come out?" So yeah, there are very negative energies. The lady was very clear on where those energies were and to stay away from them. And those energies were subject specifically to small areas. So when we were told to stay away from an area, it was a very small area that we were told to stay away from. Like the boys' locker room, for instance. In the girls' locker room, there was a young female, and this is only in the members video. I thought I did not have footage of it, but I did. There was a young female who had an advocate adult ghost on the other side who spent his afterlife protecting this girl. So you would either get the man's voice through the little device, or you would get the female's voice through the little device. And the men that were on the tour were kind of asked not to go back there because she won't talk when there's men around. So we stayed out. She talked to the girls. There was like 4 or 5 girls back there. She talked to them for a few minutes. And then the guy started taking over, and the girl ghost shut up and stopped responding. And then I believe the ghost advocate adult asked us to leave, and we did. He very nicely asked us to leave, and we did. The ghost, however, the graveyard where we went to next, on my side of the graveyard, all we were getting was, I don't want to misquote, it was leave now, go now, go, leave now. On the other side of the graveyard, there was a group of 3 people that were very experienced in ghost hunting. They were also paid to be on the tour, but they wanted to go, and they definitely knew what they were doing. As we're walking out of the graveyard, the girl who didn't say a word to me all night, one of the 2 girls in the other group, came up to me and said, it was telling us to leave. It was telling us we had to go now. And there was a little girl saying, please don't go, please don't go, please don't go. So the graveyard was a negative experience. And then the third place we went to was one of the old buildings, what might have been a storefront or an office back in the 1800s in this copper mining town where very bad things happened. Historically known things that were very bad that happened. And this is where the ghost that had taken a great liking to my daughter. And that was witnessed by everybody on the tour. And I had to ask for a recount of the situation by Mom and Nose and Mr. Brown recounting what happened there, because I didn't have the camera rolling when everything went crazy. And I will take that out of the members video. The members video comes out this Friday. It's 15 minutes long. I'd love it if you were a member. I understand a lot of people don't like to use their credit cards on their phones. That's cool. But for $1.99 a month, you can become a member. You can also, I think it's only from your laptop, buy memberships. Instead of giving me a super chat, you could, I think it's for $4.99, you could buy somebody a 1 month. It's random. You can't pick the person. YouTube picks the person, but you can give away. But that doesn't matter. I got 19 people who are fulfilling my minimum needs to get this channel done, and I'm very happy with that. And those 19 people, you'll notice them because they have a little marker at the end of their name. Not the wrench, but after the wrench. So people did mention in the comments, you got to be careful of evil spirits and things like that. But what if the other side is like this side, where there is both good and evil? And I don't believe that the other side, or purgatory, or wherever these ghosts are, is really that crowded of a place. I think it's a very small percentage of the people who have passed over end up in whatever situation that is, let's call it, or purgatory, in between. I don't know. I don't know if it's something that they brought onto themselves by not letting go of something here on earth, or if it is their destiny and God's intention for their existence. But it was real. It was very, very real. And I would do it again. I would if I had $200 to blow on stupidness, I would buy one of those voice boxes. I can download one to the phone. I did use one here in the house that I downloaded on this old phone here. My favorite phone of all, iPhone 5. The iPhone 5. This was a good one. And I did hear some very nasty shit through that voice box here in my house. But I do also have a graveyard of the man that the lake is named after that I live on. And the graveyard has been completely destroyed by teenagers, knocking over 100-year-old tombstones. How ridiculous is that? So I do attribute to the awful voices I got here. But at 550 to 600 square feet, like the last time I got followed home by a ghost, he got here, he's like, really? I came to haunt one fucking room. Like, me and you are stuck here. I'm stuck here. There's nowhere I could go. This is the ghost talking. There's nowhere I could go in your whole house where I don't have to look at you. No matter what corner of this house that I haunt, I still see your fat ass laying on the couch. I'm not doing this with you, Red. I'm not going to be your ghost. I'm going somewhere else. There's got to be at least 1,200 square feet somewhere on this block. That never happened. But if a ghost did follow me home, he would be very disappointed when he got here. He's like, this is it. I'll be like, dude, go haunt the motorcycles in the garage. If you don't like it up here, go haunt the laundry machine, the dryer. Go hang with the dryer. Scared the shit out of the dryer. Okay? But this is what it is. There's nowhere you can go in this whole place where you don't have to look at the other person that's in it. There's no way to do that except for the bathroom. And there's only so long you could hide in there before it gets old. A ghost just standing in my bathroom. There's only enough room for 2 people to stand in my bathroom. And a ghost is just standing in my bathroom just like, fuck. This is really it. So anyways, assuming one of these ghosts came home with me from the museum where I've done a lot of these videos at, I'm going to check in on what y'all saying. Ooh, see, my hat's so low I could read Donna's smiley. Well, I could read that anyways. She says hi. Gibby says, gotta go later, brother. So I understand the concern of those that I'm surprised that video isn't cracking, and I'm really surprised that the Blazing M Ranch isn't really cracking, and I'm really surprised that the that the Pueblo Ruins that I went to isn't really cracking. That was one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in my life. Well, anywhere in Sedona is, but I mean, to sit there and say this is a ruins, but look at the view that they had. I mean, how wonderful. 800 years ago, these Indians had this beautiful view, and it didn't cost anything per month. Red, this is essential. I have had a ghost named Martin followed by my entire life in every house that I've gone to. And Resin Wave says hello. The ghost said hi? So I guess there's no questions that ghosts exist. It's really weird. Speaking of ghosts, it's really weird how I was watching that woman, and I'm not into tarot cards at all, okay? At all. And I'm not into psychics at all. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. And by a psychic telling you something, they're not doing you any favors. Like a psychic recently told my daughter that they described the relative, and there was a chance it was either me or somebody else, and they said they're going to die. So now my kid's got to walk around thinking, about this until one of us kicks off. Like, how is that valuable information? I know it's not me, because they said that the person has the eyeball glasses that turn into shades. So the other guy's going first for sure. Hopefully he doesn't go for a while, because he's going first. And the longer he lasts, the longer I last, really, is what I'm trying to say. But why do you need to know that? It doesn't matter. So I do believe that psychic information is spread. I would put half of my eggs in the basket that say it's evil. I don't think there's any good reason for anybody to know what's going to happen, unless it's something they could change, or if it's good news, like you're going to win the lottery. But other than that, I don't think there's anything anybody needs to know. We're all here to live our lives. You know, let tomorrow be a surprise, and hopefully a good one. Amen. So I do believe that the tarot cards, to get back to that, see, this stuff really works, because I am squirreling out, but I'm coming right back to where I started. So the tarot cards were indicating, they were asking, I'm not going to get into it on this channel, but they were deep in the rabbit hole. And what was my point about bringing up the tarot cards that we don't need to know? It was that one tarot card reader lady. I can't remember her name, but she got banned off of UPS. She's brunette. She kind of reminds you of Mrs. Pools, or the office lady who's the same actress from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He's a righteous dude. That lady, Mrs. Pools, on the Hogan Family. That tarot card reader. And I was just, they were trying to determine if a huge political figure was alive or dead. One that wears a red necktie. And although I don't believe that he's dead, because that would simply create the same problem that we had with Biden, and we've already declared everything Biden did was illegal, so of course that would not be the truth. But the point is, the tarot cards are real. I don't need to know. They have to be connected to something evil, because the information that you get may be true, but it's chosen and it's given to you, and not for a good reason. My child did not receive the information that one of her two male relatives were going to die based on somebody trying to help her. Although the person who gave the information may think that's what they're doing, the demon behind it knows that's not the case, that all they're doing is causing turmoil and using this person who has a sixth sense to as a pawn for that. And I could say that because I know I'm very intuitive, and I do believe that I do possess uncontrollably a lot of those same psychic abilities that people have. And I really don't think it's any more than intuitiveness. And some people are really good at lifting weights, not the guy running for New York mayor, but like I did see a 10-year-old boy who bench pressed 200 pounds. And the mayor from New York wasn't able to bench press 75 pounds, or the guy running for mayor. So that's not his strength, and some people have strengths, and, one of mine is intuitiveness. I know when I'm especially good when people are lying, and I see the truth when they're lying to me. I automatically get hit with the real story anytime, and it happens all the time at work with managers, all the time. Like, for instance, I walked by two supervisors, and the full-time supervisor said to the part-time supervisor, "Hey, you got to work this Saturday, but don't worry, it's the only time you have to do it. It's a one-time deal." He said it's a one-time deal. And as I'm walking by, I said to the other supervisor, "He's lying to you. You're going to be doing Saturdays from now on." And that son of a bitch has been working on Saturday ever since. Just like I told him. Because when I heard the lie, I when he said the lie, I heard the truth. And that's how my intuitive instincts work. But I'm not sitting there having, telling people or even having visions of who's going to live or who's going to die. I'm pretty happy with the level that I've got, and I'm glad I can't control it. There are things outside of what we understand that are also good and evil, but still are not going to exclude us from our relationship with Jesus Christ. As long as your eye's on the prize, we don't know what should be in the Bible. I mean, should Enoch be in the Bible? If Enoch is supposed to be in the Bible, that makes it a whole new game. We can't trust the people that edited the Bible because they edited the Bible to control the people. I mean, it was King James. A lot of problems with that Bible. Where's my Ethiopian? I just got the Ethiopian Bible in giant print because that was the version of the Bible that was able to not be bastardized by kings and queens. So we can use everything in the Bible, and I'm not saying any of the Bible is false, and every story in there is useful. Most of the First Testament, as far as stories go, are just ways to not live your life. And most of it is just advice through people who have failed, and the whole Bible is about people who failed. Everybody in the Bible, all the heroes of the Old Testament are literally heroes of God. Even Paul, who I hate in the 16 books he wrote, I don't like Paul, the apostle. I don't like him at all. If me and Paul were neighbors, we would not get along at all. Paul's an asshole. Sorry to say it, but he's an asshole. I don't like Paul. Anyway, my point being that I don't believe that any of these experiences can separate me from Jesus Christ or my relationship with Jesus Christ. And any negative spirits that surround me, I can declare vanished in the name of Jesus Christ. So, and I do know that. So the encounters, I didn't, the only negative encounters I had were in the graveyard, and they were very distant and very short, and those spirits did not want to interact with us or be around us. And through every voice box in the graveyard, which was about 5 of them, were all saying the same thing from different spirits in the graveyard. I believe I was talking to Michael, and the people in back were talking to maybe I was talking to the one that was not the doctor, because there was only 4 spirits coming up. There were only 1 or 2 spirits coming through Mama Knows. Mr. Brown had one voice box. AJ and I had one voice box. I think we were dealing with the same ghost through our voice box, and they were dealing with 3 ghosts in the back of the graveyard with the very experienced ghost hunters that were also on the tour. Would I do more ghost hunting? Yes. Like I said, if I had $200 to spend on something stupid, I might buy one of those voice boxes and do videos, because there's no way to fake it. There's no way that these 2 independent machines are going to be able to create a lie together. When I hear the voice, you ask the question, you wait 2 or 3 seconds, and it generates a voice by scrambling the AM and FM dial. One is scrambling AM, one's scrambling FM, but somehow they come together and make one voice and one reply about 2 seconds after you ask the question. So you got to give it a second, because as the lady explains, I'm not sure it's true, that it takes a lot of energy for them to communicate. So if you haven't watched that episode, please do. At the beginning, it's a little bit annoying with the noise of the machine, and then I kind of figure out a way to get rid of that noise, after a couple minutes of the video. But everything that's coming out of the voice box, I am translating at the bottom of the screen. Red, this is essential. I have had a ghost. Okay, I read that. Sorry. So I guess that's all I have to say about that. Watch out. I don't know where I'm going to put the other actual video of the 7 ghosts walking through the hallway of the museum. After the museum was closed, the video was released by the owner. The owner indicated in the email to the employees that this is video that he capped, that they called it the Ring doorbell, even though it wasn't a doorbell and it was up in the corner above the door, like a security cam would be. He said the Ring doorbell camera picked up these 7 ghosts, and you see the reflection, the wall of glass, and you see the hallway, and there's nothing walking down the hall. After this is like the middle of the night, there's nothing in the hallway, but you see the reflection of all the ghosts walking by. I will post that somewhere. And that's really all I had to add tonight. You guys should probably, a few of you have found your hyper points or your hype points that you're allowed to give out to YouTubers. Please hold on to those for me and give those hype points to a video that you like. It can only be a video that is 7 days old or less. This Friday's video will be video 2 of the Ghost Graveyard episode for the members only. And the following week, I'll put out probably the Grand Canyon video or one of the other videos. I don't know. There's a lot to choose from. And I'm doing that because my view count is so low. Right now, the Ghost video only has 44 views. I thought that would have 444 views in 3 days. So we're slowing it down. I'm not throwing out all my my weapons in one shot. Throwing them slowly at the bullseye. And if you guys would be so kind, if there is a video that you'd like to share, no matter how old it is, if you like share it on social media to people, I'd appreciate it. Somehow we have to find these videos in the lap of people who actually sit and watch destination type videos. And the people here on this channel are. I believe that all of you are on this channel because you love me as a person more than you love the videos. That you're my friend, that you probably have my phone number, or you appreciate what I've done on other channels, and you're here for support only because this is the only way to support me. There's no way to support me on that other platform. I do believe that, and this is, no matter what, I'm going to keep this channel well into retirement. That's the whole point of it. And no matter how big or small it is, I'm going to keep going, because at least it's a diary of my life that if my daughter ever missed me, she can always pick up YouTube and watch Dad on some adventure and hear my voice. So peace and love worldwide. Live your life before your life lives you. Thank you for joining me. Oh, and we've got so much stuff that is not being displayed that I'm actually going to clear a lot of this off. A lot of, like that bottle right there was a gift to fill space. There's a couple things up there that were just given to me to fill space. So we're going to redo both the shelves and bring in the stuff that you guys have given me and try and let it build a little slower and probably cut the busyness in half. of what's going on up there. So peace and love worldwide. Live your life before your life lives you. Please save me those hyper points. And please take YouTube's advice when they say visit this sponsor of this video. Feel free to explore that sponsor's webpage by clicking on whatever button YouTube gives you, because YouTube knows what you need to buy best. And I go from 0.9 cents or 0.009 cents to like 9 cents. If in fact there is a video, a product that interests you. Thank you very much, and have a beautiful Labor Day weekend, everybody.